Guys, we have Erin Summers joining us again. Erin, how are you doing?
I am doing great. It has been busy because Pelicans have been in town now for past 4 home games. They're about to go on the road tomorrow, and it's free agency time right now. So there's a lot of different stuff happening in the NFL that everyone's keeping track of, and just kind of waiting for stuff to happen.
Erin, all I have to say is it's a good thing that New Orleans does not have a baseball team.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we used to have this team. It was like a minor league team called the Baby Cakes, but they don't exist anymore.
Oh,
so is that a dessert? A New Orleans dessert that I'm not familiar
I have no idea.
What the? That's awesome.
So you obviously talk about free agency. How crazy is it, as in your job in particular, to keep up with free agents, to keep up with sources, not knowing whether they're true or not? You see a lot of that where people are like, no, that's not true. Like, don't follow that. But like, how hard is that to keep up with everything and dive in deeper into it?
Yeah, it's funny because I was just talking today with, the manager of our social media team, and he was like, I'm literally waiting, just staring at my computer, driving myself crazy to try to get ahead of some of the news so we can get prepared, for graphics and different things that we need to get ready to send out. It's kind of a process between upper management, the people that are making those decisions, and then kind of sharing that with the rest of the team so we can kind of stay ahead of it a little bit, so we can be the people that are putting out some of that information when it happens. But it's wild to follow what's going on all around the league right now, especially with some of the quarterback situations that we've seen.
Crazy.
There are a lot of teams out there right now that are going after Deshaun Watson, and regardless of if they get them or not, they've pretty much told their current quarterback that you're not it. And it's going to be really hard if they don't end up getting him, because some of these teams don't have a plan B. Ooh. And they're looking maybe like the Falcons, like, sorry, Matt Ryan, just kidding. Can you still lead the team this year?
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, let's discuss the elephant in the room. Obviously, Deshaun Watson is this huge headline right now. I don't know how much you can share with us, or even if you can share anything with us. But do you know what a trade package would look like, not only for the Saints, but a team going after Deshaun Watson? Obviously, they want 3 first rounds. They want another player, but maybe a couple more picks.
It's probably like 5 draft picks total.
Yeah, so there's no arguing that he's an elite talent. And if you look at just the football itself, then yes, he's deserving of what you're talking about here. But I think for him, looking at a team, what is he going to, right? So like if the Panthers are trading away Christian McCaffrey to get him, well, what are his assets going to be when he gets there?
Yeah.
Right. So like those are the kind of things that you have to look at too. The Saints have definitely done a lot as far as tankering with their cap space and restructuring contracts, and
huge.
I mean, it's amazing what they can do. It's funny because I think we mentioned this last time. Everybody always talks about how like, oh, the Saints, they're in salary cap hell and blah blah blah, and then you give it a couple months and they're fine. So they're really good about that. And we did lose Marcus Williams. We're going to lose a couple people that you just can't hold on to. Teron Armstead is probably going to be another one because they're deserving of the kind of contracts they can go out and get. But it's a little bit of everything as far as what you can offer, as far as future picks and current stuff that you have.
Now, Erin, where exactly are they right now as far as cap space? Because I saw where they were like 2.4, and then I saw another one where they're about $6 million. Do they have enough room? Do they have enough room right now to take on a $40+ million contract of Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, I mean, they are well under right now, and depending on, like I said, some of those other people like Armstead, like some other guys that may leave, they would have more to work with.
Yeah, that's. I was thinking too if Armstead was waiting to see what happened with the quarterback situation. Like I haven't really seen him.
Winston too. Like what their thoughts are on with Winston.
Well, I mean, I think personally, I think that would be a very viable option and somebody that you could definitely sign for a lot less, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
you can still get somebody that did really well with the team last year that knows what they want to do here, knows the system, knows the people, because pretty much everything has stayed in place regardless of the coaching change. So I think that would be a really easy fit if they don't end up getting Watson, because obviously they put their offer in and that's what they're waiting for.
Now, rumor, they said that there might be.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, you probably were going to say this, but the rumor is that he might make a decision today. So I think we're all kind of waiting for that. And like you said,
is that your phone buzzing, Aaron, or is that Chris's?
No, that's that. If you hear a phone buzz, we're like, well, we're all messed up today. But like you said, last time you were on, we talked about how the Saints are always in salary cap. I think they were $75 million over. And I always joke around, because I heard Pat McAfee talk about this one time, where he just talks about there is no salary cap at this point. If you really want to go get somebody, I mean, we were 75 over. We got under. We signed, what was it, Marcus May? It was like 3 years, $28 million, something like that. And now we're still going for Deshaun Watson on top of that. Mickey Loomis is a genius. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible what they're able to do. But I don't ever worry about it, you know? Like, they just kind of, it's the same thing, rinse and repeat every year.
But that's the thing about football. You don't have to worry about it this year, but eventually you will. Like the Cowboys in 2024, they'll have to pay Dak Prescott $52 million because they renegotiated his contract, pushed money back. So eventually it's going to catch up to a lot of teams.
Well, and I think that was the same with what Aaron Rodgers just signed for too, the back end. If like there's dead end contract or there's dead years to the back end of that, but like year 3, I think they owe him almost like 60 million or something against the cap.
Wow.
So it's kind of like, what do you want right now? And what are you willing to deal with in the future? Because you're going to have to let other people go or you know, kind of change what the structure of your roster looks like once you get in those situations where you have to pay somebody like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and it was definitely sad to see Marcus Williams go. He played so well for us, but obviously we couldn't pay him that much. He deserves every penny of it.
Right.
Now, as far as if we don't land Deshaun Watson, is there any news as to what the Saints plan to try and do? Like, will they just stick with a Winston? You know, Baker might be, you know, the next trade target. There's rumors about that. And then also on top of that, there's Julio Jones and Jarvis Landry now. Like, do we bring someone like that in to help the quarterback? There's a bunch of stuff going around that could really beef up the Saints.
Ty wants everybody.
Yeah, I know.
I do.
So I think that as far as the quarterback situation goes, they want somebody. So Winston, like I said, would be a viable option. Haven't ruled out the draft. There are a couple possibilities there as well. Don't think that they would go. I don't know, but it's funny because our recent acquisition on the Pelicans side and CJ McCollum has been trying to recruit Jarvis Landry. They're both from Ohio, and so he's been putting that out there. So it's pretty funny. And obviously Cameron Jordan is somebody that's very active on social as far as the Saints go, as trying to recruit players and get people in here and wanting to bring guys to play with. So it was rumors for a little while that like Tyrann Mathieu might think about coming here, and there was those recruiting pitches going on, and there are definitely still some people out there. The Baker thing just kind of started coming out today, so I'm not really sure who is interested, how that's going to, transpire. But yeah, it was one of those teams that kind of put in for Watson and said, regardless of what happens,
I feel like Ian Rappaport, my Twitter account's going crazy. I know it's not Cowboys news because Cowboys don't do anything. It's probably the Cowboys fans that are mad right now. But the nice thing is the Saints picked up 2 extra third-round picks today. So you guys have a nice handful of picks. And let's face it, it's not like basketball where the first round is the best bet as far as draft picks go. You can get sleeper picks now into the 4th, 5th, and even 6th round anymore.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely. Speaking of Twitter, it's funny. I just got an update from CJ McCollum just said it's not too late at God_son80, which is Jarvis's handle. Come home, brother. So, I mean, it's
nice.
it's constant. It's hilarious. It's fun to see these guys use Twitter in that way. Because, I mean, you got to think that they're also communicating, I'm sure they have each other's phone numbers or something else like that, right?
Absolutely.
But it's funny because then you get the fan base involved too, and then it just kind of really blows up.
Now, Aaron,
and it's not like I want. It's not like, by the way, that real quick. It's not like I want every single player. I just know that the Saints on roster, like if we can just get a quarterback, like we are right there. Like whether we settle with Winston went 5-2 against really good teams last year. Like that defense is young. They signed a lot of guys to big contracts. That's why I'm excited. Like I just know we're right there. We're still like we're not going to rebuild. Like we can get a quarterback in there. We're right there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that's like the biggest key for the Saints this season is solidifying the quarterback position. I mean, sure, the offensive line might shake up a little bit, but even last year through the injuries and everything that they dealt with, they weren't terrible. You know, they had some guys that were able to step in there. So
now, Aaron, let me ask you this: is there any concern at all for suspension for Watson?
Yeah.
I mean, legally, he's been cleared. So the way that teams are going after him right now wouldn't lead me to believe that there's, going to be any other repercussions.
I mean, the only reason I asked that is because the NFL tends to police their own thing then. Because look at Ezekiel Elliott a few years ago. They found nothing on him and they still suspended him. Is that a concern?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We haven't really talked much about what it would look like how going forward if he came here. It's kind of just trying to figure out if that is what's going to be happening, and then
let's just get him first. Let's just get him first.
I'm sure people way above my pay grade have had lots of conversations about this.
So
are you waiting?
Who are you watching now as far as to get your news? Are you watching NFL Network? Are you watching the Saints.com? Like who are your main focal points that you're looking for any kind of news?
Yeah, I mean, the same kind of people that y'all are looking at. It's NFL Network, it's ESPN, it's, the individual guys that we all kind of rely on as far as the news goes. Most of the team entities aren't necessarily known to break news. So, we'll have the complete news once it's official and it's done deal. But, the first thing you're going to hear isn't probably going to come from the team. So for us, we're kind of all doing the same thing, talking internally and then watching Twitter.
Gosh, now something this big. I mean, are you waiting around your phone all day, like just waiting for this news to break to see? Like, let's be real though. Like that's what I would be doing. Like if I had your job, like especially when there's a rumor that he might make a decision today.
Phone's gonna be under her pillow tonight.
Yeah. I mean, right? It's like okay, so we're Central. So it's 6:15 here. Like. Is it even today still? Or is it tonight now? What is the stipulation here? Can I put it to rest for the day? No, that's part of it. Stuff happens. What was it? There was some news recently that broke in the middle of the night, and I can't.
There has been
an NFL player signing or trade or something.
Yeah, there's been a lot of that lately. Even baseball. Like last night, we're Yankees fans. In the middle of the night, Rizzo signed that deal, and I woke up to him like, are they sleeping when their agents call them about this stuff? And it's crazy, crazy.
I know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that if I'm not paying attention, somebody will let me know immediately if I need to know something.
There's so much going on with the Saints, and this has been a crazy offseason. I said that 20 podcasts ago that this was going to be a crazy offseason. Is there any update on Alvin Kamara? I feel like I've heard nothing on him. Is he good to play, or is everything
That's
settled?
That's a good thing.
I know it's good. We haven't heard anything. He had his first court date. He didn't have to appear, so he didn't. Don't know really what's the next step. Haven't heard anything as far as the league goes, and I think they're just kind of letting that one play out there. As far as the team goes, obviously, as you mentioned, the NFL, the league can get involved if they want to. But so far, it's gotten kind of quiet.
Yeah, no news is good news.
Has not come out, which is good. We're just.
Let me ask you something.
Scary situation.
Our breath.
We've been hearing all these reports about deals and all this stuff going on since probably Saturday or Sunday. Free agency just opened up today at 3:00 Eastern. Isn't this considered tampering?
So you are allowed to talk to people, and you can announce. I don't know. There's different stipulations as far as when you can announce stuff. It has to be after 3:00 that you can officially announce, right? But if it's a player that you have already on your roster, that was fair game to kind of say you're re-signing them. But I'm not sure exactly as far as the ability to interview and put in requests and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. A lot of stuff.
It happens at the draft. Like, it happens all the time.
It happens everywhere. It's like every level, there's something that's like not kosher going on, right?
Gotcha.
Look, I got to ask you something, Erin. Everything was looking good for the Saints to win a division. I mean, Carolina is a mess. Atlanta is just going under a rebuild. The Saints were looking good, Brady, and then all of a sudden,
freaking Tom Brady had to come back.
How's everyone taking it down there in New Orleans about TB12 coming back?
Well, so we had a Pelicans game when the news came out, and everybody was like, focus on the game, but then everybody's kind of like, wait, what? Did you see this? Like, is this what? Are we serious here? Like, Tom Brady's coming back, and I mean, it's just kind of like, all right,
It is what it is.
For us, we've shown that he hasn't been that big of a problem for our team.
1-4.
So, yeah, I think that's what the fans are kind of holding on to. Obviously, different team for us next year. They're going to have different pieces to their team as well. I just think it's wild, the whole thing in general, that it's like, I'm stepping away, and then, a couple months later, he's back. And I was talking to a former NBA player about this the other day and saying the same thing, like when the news came out, and he was like, you don't know how hard it is to make that decision.
I can only imagine.
You think you're good with it. You think that the season's over, so it's a natural break. And then you walk away for a little while, and you're like, man, like, I miss it. It's the hardest decision to make. And if somebody like him, like, didn't walk away because he had to, right? He can still play. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy.
Well, and that was the thing. Everyone's talking about the lack of quarterbacks in the draft this year, but it's like, Brady probably looked at it too, of all the changes happening recently too, with quarterbacks going elsewhere. He's like, well, wait a second. By the time the season comes around, I'm going to be better than, like, 3/4 of these guys anyways. So,
NFC's wide open.
That competitive drive definitely didn't leave him. You could probably tell that. And it sucks for the Saints. Obviously, it sucks for the whole division, for that matter.
Hey,
I'm sure. Yeah. He's probably like licking his lips like, this looks like this is going to be nice. I'm going to come back.
Yeah.
He's great. Don't get me wrong. He's great, and he's probably it's probably, like you said, so hard to walk away after winning being at so many Super Bowls. I mean, the numbers he put up last year was too good to walk away.
It brought back Jensen. They took a Patriots lineman too, so that makes waves.
Well, they already picked up a receiver from Atlanta. And it's funny, Vegas said Tampa Bay winning the Super Bowl, like the chances at like 40-1, and all of a sudden that changed real quick.
Oh.
Yeah. It's funny to watch those odds jump around this time too.
Man.
My question quick. Were the Saints ever involved with Russell Wilson at all? Or were they?
Ooh, good question.
A possibility?
Yeah, I think that was a money thing. Obviously, you saw how much he got.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was a little too early for them to be able to really get in on that. I'm sure people would have loved to have him, but
that shocked a lot of people. I didn't expect that.
Look, I'm just glad baseball's back, because I got to take my mind off the Cowboys. They're really frustrating me anymore. The only time there's news in there about them, it's some kind of drama with Jerry Jones, or just I wish we just signed somebody. I mean, anybody. I mean, we're so poor we even lost our Pro Bowl kicker. I mean, that's horrible.
Hey, shout out to Patrick Peterson. He's got his own podcast for the Vikings. But he had on DeMarcus Lawrence of the Cowboys. Him and I think it's Brian McFadden host a podcast. I sent you that clip.
Yeah, Chris. I saw it. I've been listening to it all day.
The initial offer was like a 1-year, $10 million deal for Lawrence, and I think the previous, like last year, he was getting paid $20 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried to offer him, 50%. And
yeah.
Didn't something just come out? Well. Yeah, didn't something just come out on Jerry Jones too? He's got like a daughter randomly now.
Yeah, that's the only. I mean, they're like the soap opera of the NFL, and it's frustrating. I mean, we can't sign anybody, but I mean, Whatever. I mean, Randy Gregory we had signed, and then they had some terminology in there about losing his guaranteed money if he gets fined, and next thing he's off to Denver.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, there's a lot of Saints stuff that we talk about, but Aaron, I wanted to ask you about your Pelicans. Zion's back on the bench, right? He's back at watching the games. Is there a time period you think where he's going to be back yet, or?
From what I've gathered, I don't think he'll be back this season. I think that at this point, it's kind of like, why? There's not that many games left. Not to rush him. He's been back with the team as far as he's in the building, he's watching practices, he's around, he's working out, not participating in practice, not doing really any basketball activity besides he'll get some shots up after practice. But he's, not jumping, not coming off his feet, not running, or anything like that yet. So he's still got a ways to go before he's actually ready to play basketball on that former broken foot.
That's tough. Is he a free agent after this year?
No, so he's up for his
rookie
option. Max. Yeah.
Ooh, do you think the Pelicans are going to pick it up, or do you think they're going to wait it out?
No, I think they'll pick it up. I mean, never in the history of the NBA has a rookie not signed that. It's the most money that you're going to be able to get anywhere. Because that's kind of like the incentive, right? Is for the team that drafted him to be able to offer him the best going forward. So I think that he'll stick around, and he seems really happy. It's great to see him walking around and smiling and joking around with people. And I was taking pictures the other day of some of the players when they got to the arena, and it's really super awkward, right? Because you show up, you're just walking in the door of the arena, and like they have to take like what they call an arrival photo, because everyone wants to see what they're wearing and their shoes and their outfits, and it's just you and this player walking towards you, and it's like, what do I do? Where do I look for like the player? And so he like kept trying to like not smile, and then he just could not help it. He just was cheesing, and I was like, Zion, you can't smile. Like, you got to look cool. And he's like, I can't help it. And I was like, I know.
That's amazing that you have a relationship with the players like that. I mean, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. But, I mean, the Pelicans are playing better. You guys are still the 10th seed. I mean, you could put up 130 points against Houston. I mean, they're becoming an exciting team to watch.
No doubt. Yeah, and they can score, especially when you have, like right now, we went through a little rut because CJ McCollum was out with health and safety protocols back in our last game, and then Brandon Ingram has been out with a hamstring injury. So that kind of sucked, for lack of a better way to put it, because they were doing so well out of the All-Star break, and then both their stars get hurt or have to sit. CJ's back. Brandon hopefully will be back tomorrow night or this upcoming weekend. And
he's good. I like him.
Friday night. Yeah, real good. So, and he has just come out of his shell completely. Like, he's very quiet, reserved, but he is joking around and his personality's coming out. He just seems like he's having a lot of fun and is really enjoying playing this season, which is good to see. And him and CJ have kind of really figured out how to play together. So the offense is working. It's the defense that we kind of need to figure out a little bit more.
They're going to be good. You guys got a good young team. And I don't know who was.
Oh, no doubt. Next year is going to be crazy if everybody that can play.
There's somebody on your team. I don't know what his name was, but he was on Instagram that he posted somebody with an amazing dunk. And Zion and the whole bench, they ran out to the court.
Oh, it was Jackson Hayes.
It was like right in front of the foul line. Like, he just straight up postered that guy.
Yeah, it was probably Jackson. I mean, he's been throwing up some crazy dunks. He went like under his legs the other day.
I saw that one too.
Houston. Yeah. Him, Herb Jones has been, Trey Murphy. Like, these guys are definitely getting comfortable offensively, which has been cool.
Well, Aaron, my last question for you, and it's a yes or no question.
Did the Saints make the Super Bowl?
No. Do you think the Saints have a good chance of landing Watson in the next couple of days out of the 3 or 4 teams that have?
What are you hearing?
Their own offers out.
I can't talk about this like specifically. No. I work for the team, so
I know.
Yes or no, like.
I'm not like looking for the details. I just want to know, in your opinion, do you think we have a good chance with what we bring to the table out of the other teams?
Yeah, I think they have a good chance, and I think that, like I said earlier, If you think about what we have here, I mean, you can come play with
dangerous.
Alvin Kamara. You can come play with Michael Thomas. The defense obviously is stout. Like,
I love hearing this right now.
Speaking of which, how is Michael Thomas? Is he 100% ready to go?
He's great. That's all you need to worry about.
Yeah. According to how he's come across, we haven't been able to speak to him because usually when people are injured, they don't have to talk, or they're not really on the team. So yeah, that's why the whole thing with Zion was like, we can't require somebody that's not with the team currently or that's injured to speak.
That's interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to make them available. So we haven't really heard from him, but from what we've gathered from what he's been posting and what I've heard, he's doing good.
Well, you heard it here. The Saints are going to land Deshaun Watson.
No, but look. If I was the GM of the Saints, I would want to get Winston back. I mean, you guys were 5-2 with Winston. He's a cheaper option. You could put more money around the other players.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely love him. But Deshaun Watson, that's not a player that's typically up for market. That's all I'm saying.
We'll give you Dak. We'll give you Dak Prescott.
I don't want Dak Prescott.
My final question for you, Erin. Who's your favorite athlete to interview, or who's been the favorite one you've gotten a chance to interview?
Threw her on the spot.
Even if it's like in the locker room, like something random that just stood out or whatever.
Well,
I don't know how much.
I'll give you a little. So CJ McCollum is very cerebral. He was a journalism major in college. He likes to think about what he's going to say, make sure, and he is great to talk to because he'll give you a good, intelligent, well thought out answer. But then if he's feeling something, he kind of got quippy with us about Zion, was really kind of saying like the media are making more out of it and this is on you guys. So, he's not afraid to kind of say how he feels too, which I appreciate. Some players really don't give you much. So he's pretty honest and I always appreciate his answers. Man, there's some players that are just funny. Like Billy Hernan Gomez he's a funny guy. And same with Trey Murphy. He's kind of like a smart ass. You have to kind of, take that with a grain of salt. He likes to make fun of you if you give him something. And then I also with Brandon, I mean, he obviously gets requested a lot. He's very quiet, but he'll give you a good, thoughtful answer as well. I think in college it's a little harder because in college, I think they get really told by their, PR staff or the sports information directors at that level or the coaches, this is what you can and can't say, and don't say this and don't say that. So they're kind of in a little box. And, we've seen with Russell Wilson, he kind of gives the same answers over and over again. He doesn't really say much. So that's tough. It's if they get that ingrained in them in college and they don't kind of come into their own, then it's kind of frustrating.
Looks like a Marshawn Lynch.
Russell Wilson's new thing now, instead of "Go Hawks," is "Let's Ride."
There you go,
Mr. Unlimited. Erin, my question for you is: how did you enjoy your first Mardi Gras?
Whew. I had no idea what it was about to be. Let me tell you, I thought, looking from afar, Mardi Gras, it's Fat Tuesday, one day, right?
No. You have Carnival.
It was a solid, it lasts for a couple of months really. And there's a couple parades here and there every week or so. And then the real Mardi Gras week is a week and a half of 3 to 5 parades a day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's a massive tailgate. I've never seen anything like it, where they shut down the main street in town and people literally set up tents and chairs and food and music, and it's a massive tailgate for miles along the parade.
That's gotta be fun. That sounds so much fun.
It's so fun. And the parades are really cool, and they just kind of come one after another. They have different themes and different things about them. And then, everybody kind of, parties all day and watches the parades and go out, or you just kind of rinse and repeat the next day. I couldn't go I had to take kind of like every other day off. Right?
we understand.
You know what's crazy is I was 15 when I saw it for the first time, and I was from Pennsylvania. I thought a parade, fire trucks, some candy.
No.
I saw some things down there that was crazy.
You have not forgotten, apparently.
No, I still have the bag of beads up in my closet, and my wife's like, "What are these underwear?" I said, "Those are the things they throw out at the parades."
Yeah, I know. I have like a bunch of beads still sitting on my island, and I'm like, what do I do with these? Yeah. Like, do I throw them away? Do I hold on to them? I don't need them now. But absolutely at that moment, you wanted them. Like, you wanted to catch everything. It's also kind of a hazard because I don't have the best reflexes, and I was pretty scared most of the time that I was just going to get like annihilated with some of these things that they're throwing. But
it's just good that the city's back up and running again, and that COVID is like in the rearview mirror. The only ones that are dealing with it now is China. Apparently, they're on lockdown again, but they got the Omicron, which we already had. So,
no,
yeah,
can't talk bad news.
Yeah,
I
can't send you off on a bad note.
We're kind of here. We have like the mask mandate's been lifted. Everything's kind of good to go. Back in the facilities, 100%. So.
That's good.
Erin,
hopefully that stays for next season.
Let me ask you this, because up here in Philadelphia, like if something goes wrong with an Eagles team, like the fan base just turns on the team fast. If you guys do by chance get Watson and you do the 5 picks, which is going to be your 3 first rounds for the next 3 years, do you think the fan base will turn and get ugly if things don't turn out the way it goes? Like everyone thinks it's going to go?
No, I think the Saints fan base is very loyal, and they think very highly of the front office and the people that are in charge. And, they've kind of given them no reason to not trust what they've done. I think what may be something that comes into play is the Watson's character and reason why he's in this position and he's available. Some just based off on some stuff on social media, obviously some fans have voiced that they're not really a fan of that. And that would be, I think, where some people might take issue.
Yeah. I also don't think we expect Super Bowl first year with him. He hasn't played in about a year.
Right.
I think we could probably get to the playoffs if he gets back in a groove, but I don't think it'd be ugly. I don't think, like, you see what he's done with Texas. Texas didn't have greatness on their team, and how he was able to go to 3 Pro Bowls out of the 4 years, playoffs 2 out of the 4 years. Like, he was able to do a lot.
Well, you guys are guaranteed. You're guaranteed 4 wins in your division at least.
Okay, settle down.
Yeah, I mean, if we play right. But last year, couldn't have gone worse, I don't think, with everything that came at the Saints last year with the injury to our quarterback, COVID, multiple injuries across the board. It was a rough season, and the fan base wasn't upset or angry about anything. So I think anything this year is going to be better than that, right?
Yeah, and I think last year was a good way that we adapted. Hey, Erin, I have one last question for you. Just popped in my head real quick.
Yeah.
One last.
Have you heard anything about possibly like Taysom and Ian Book? Like, I was thinking about that the one day. Like, if we can't get Winston leaves because he's upset with the whole Deshaun Watson. We don't land Deshaun Watson. Is there a chance they just leave it open for Taysom Hill and Ian Book for 1 year?
Yeah. So from what I feel is that Taysom's not going to be utilized as a quarterback going forward. They want to really use him more as like, that Swiss Army knife. They can kind of do it all and have him come in at times in that role. And Ian Book, everything about him has been super positive. Obviously, he got thrown into a really horrible situation against Miami with half our team out. So that's not really a good sample size of what he can do. But I've heard really good things about him. And I don't think they would want to put him out there this season like that.
And that's just intriguing to me because I'm like, he was so good at Notre Dame, one of the best quarterbacks played at Notre Dame. And that's why I'm like, if we don't land these guys, why try and draft a quarterback in a draft class that a lot of scouts don't believe in? Yeah, we just drafted a guy last year. Class. Yeah, so.
Yeah, his size he's not the biggest.
Hey, neither was Drew Brees.
No.
This draft is loaded with offensive linemen and defensive ends. I mean, you're going to see at least five offensive linemen go within the first 20 picks.
Yeah, and I think the depth of the offensive linemen is pretty good. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Saints get somebody there at an offensive lineman in the draft.
Yeah.
And you guys can easily pick up a receiver in the third round. I mean, there's so many receivers in this draft.
Yeah, and free agency. Still a lot of big names at free agency. But Erin, it's always a blast. Thank you so much for coming on. We love having you on. Mm-hmm. We went like 3 podcasts and we were like, man, we should have Erin back on. There's a lot going on in the NFL right now. That'd be huge to talk with.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. It's always fun to chat with y'all as well.
And I hope my lack of technology hasn't chased you away. And I'm sorry about the buzzing.
Next time, just got to put that phone on silent, okay?
Yeah. Now I know he doesn't have iPhone, so it's not that easy for him.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get an iPhone, but Erin, we'll let you go. We're going to continue for a little bit, but as always, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. You guys have a great rest of the week.
You too. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Always so great.
So glad she has a good sense of humor.
Yeah, I know. She's cool.
I wanted to stop it because I kept hearing the beeping.
Look,
but
listen to me. The only volume I have up is the phone volume. That's it. I don't know why it's coming through. Everything else is silent.
Yeah. Well, I think your phone's on vibrate, but what sucks is it's on a stand, so it's vibrating the whole stand on top of it. So
and you know what? It's like it's all breaking news. I mean, like somebody just signed with the Giants in baseball. I mean, it's lighting up on my phone, and I'm just like, I don't want to touch it to shut it off because the last thing I want is my phone to crash.
Hey, Ty, quick, because we didn't ask her. Give out. Does she care if we let her know where people can find her on like Twitter?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure she won't mind that at all.
We'll link that out, too, after this. But I think you can find her on Twitter.
She's a blast. She has so much knowledge and insight. Like, I didn't know that you can't talk. You don't have to, like, players don't have to talk to you if they're injured. That's weird, isn't that? Like, if I was an owner, I'd want to know what the status. I'm sure a lot of players do give them status updates, but, like, they don't have to.
But you think they'd be using the facilities to rehab and stuff like that. So they should be getting some kind of news from the trainers, whatnot.
Yeah.
That's why I love having these guests on, because you learn something new every time.
We should try and have her on once a month.
Yeah.
The stories. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh gosh, she's a blast.
And we got the draft coming up. The draft coming up in April. There you go, Erin. 3-week window, Erin. 3-week window.
I was going to say, yes, we should have her on, do like a live draft coverage for the first like 10 picks or something. No, that would
imagine she's like in the Superdome outside the war room. And the pick is in.
Like what are you hearing?
Erin, what's going on, Erin? Do you hear Sean Payton?
Jock Peterson.
Darn it.
Jock Peterson signed with the Giants.
Really? And I'm shocked they didn't keep Chris Bryant, and I'm shocked they let Chris Bryant walk. He played well for them.
Look, I gotta tell you, I'm seriously, I am so aggravated with the Cowboys. I mean, this has just been a terrible offseason. I mean, we couldn't even keep Randy Gregory because of some verbiage that was in there.
Huge.
They spent all morning kissing his butt trying to get him to come back, and apparently it ended with Jerry Jones getting on the phone and talking to them, and at the end he just basically said, "F you guys." And that's from several different sources that he actually lost his temper. He was mad at his kid. His kid dropped the ball in this. Because they could have took the verbiage out yesterday, and they chose not to. But at the end of the day, what they did for Randy Gregory and what they gave him, I mean, I don't think he's worth $14 million a year. I'm sorry, Randy Gregory, but when you only get 6 sacks a season, I could
picture Jerry Jones, like his neck bulging, and he's all red, kicking stuff.
Old Southern guy,
skirts, I want to what you doing with his team.
Lawrence, what'd they give Lawrence?
They gave Lawrence a lot.
Well, he got more guaranteed money. His cap hit for this year is only $14 million. But they have their out for Dak now because they restructured his deal. So like I was saying, in 2024, they're going to have to pay him $52 million for that season. So unless they restructure his deal or re-sign him or do something with him, I don't see him being a Dallas Cowboy. So he's got 2 years to get it straight.
Wow. I said to you and Noah that this is the year to check. Now, how about this? Like, I was thinking about this, not only in NFL, but baseball. Look at these contracts. Like, people are just getting $160 million like it's nothing. You know who screwed it for the receivers? You know who screwed it for the teams? Was it the Jets that signed Christian Kirk? Who signed Christian Kirk? The Jags.
No, the Jaguars.
$19 million.
They gave him $60 million total.
Yeah, he's getting
for a guy that didn't even scratch 1,000 yards receiving. Oh, you have Allen Robinson and OBJ that are free agents. You're screwing other teams. I mean, Jarvis Landry's better than him. What is Jarvis Landry going to want?
Julio? I mean, look at those
No,
guys.
no, Julio. Let me tell you
He's
something.
not as good. He's not okay. Go
I
ahead.
have a little stat on Julio. Julio, 2014 through 2019, 6 straight Pro Bowls, was dominant. Since 2019, he's averaged 10 games a year and less because of he's got a lingering hamstring injury that comes back every year. Last year he played 10 games. The year before that he played 9 games. He only had 430 yards last year and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, in 2014 to 2019, he averaged 102 yards. Now he's only averaging 63. And you're right. In a 2-year period, he's missed over 14 games. I mean,
that's why, like, I was thinking about this.
He's not worth it.
If I'm the Saints or any team that's trying to get him, you have reasonable stats to be like, listen, we'll take you on a 1-year vet minimum.
That's the kind of guy the Cowboys are going to sign. That's how we are. We like cheap.
I would sign him. I would sign him for dirt cheap for a red zone threat.
I wouldn't give him minimal. No.
Well, I thought it was weird that the news came out about Gregory's contract before they even had anything done with Lawrence, and then you've come to find out you lowballed Lawrence anyways, an offer. Like I was surprised with Gregory's contract too. I was surprised with Kirk's contract. Like that's the most shocking because now Devontae likely, like he wants a long-term deal and it might be likely, but how are you going to do that? And it just raised the franchise tag rate also.
But the thing you guys got to realize though is don't look at the big number because they could say 5 years for $1 billion. Look at the guaranteed money. Like Randy Gregory's deal was 4 years for 78 or 70 million or something like that. But it came out to where his $28 million guarantee was going to be a 2-year deal. So 2 for 14 is basically, I mean, 2 and 14 a year. So look at the guaranteed money. That's where your deal is. There's always an out in these contracts.
Yeah.
See, that's a difference. You wanted it right there is a big difference between MLB contracts and NFL contracts.
100%.
Ty.
Okay. Yeah. And the 2 teams you should watch too for next year to improve, the Jets and the Jags. They have been big spenders this whole free agency. All you see on the news, Jags picked up a cornerback, Jags picked up an offensive line, Jets picked up a safety, picked up just picking up people left and right. I mean, they have a lot of money, don't get me wrong.
I tell you what, you know, the NFC is wide open. The AFC is going to be tough. I mean, you got teams like Vegas. You got teams. The Chargers got a defense now to go with their offense. The Chargers are going to be a sleeper team. That division with Denver, Kansas City, and the Raiders and all of them, and the Chargers. That's going to be the division to watch next year. That
Chargers
division is packed.
Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa on both ends.
Plus, they got J.C. Jackson. I mean, they
got a bunch of people.
That team's stacked. Chandler Jones goes to Vegas. I mean, Max Crosby got the big deal.
Here's some big free agents that are still left. There's a couple of them. You still have Tyrann Mathieu, who could still perform. You've Teron Armstead, like me and Aaron talked about, Saints offensive line. Allen Robinson, OBJ. You still have Stephon Gilmore, Clowney, and Bobby Wagner. There's some big names that, sure, they're getting old, might not produce like they were in their prime, but that'd be a good pickup. Like I told you, Bobby Wagner would be nice to train Micah Parsons, have a good veteran person with him.
I mean, doesn't that seem likely he'd go to the Broncos with Wilson? Like
I heard he's trying to get him over there, man. That'd be huge.
I'd say it was huge. Eagles picking up Hassan Reddick. I mean, that was a freaking steal today. I mean, the other day. I mean, he's just a great linebacker. I mean,
I didn't even. Yeah, it's a good call out.
3-year deal, $45 million, includes $30 million guaranteed. The deal could go up to a max of 49. I mean, these teams aren't messing around. These teams are messing around.
I'm realizing too that I don't know how big he is, but linebackers, for instance, gotta have speed to be able to keep up with if they're trying to cover a receiver in like a nickel package or with look at what Josh Allen did running all over the Bills and pretty much every other team. So it's crazy.
I mean, I don't know what the Cowboys are doing. I mean, they were Von Miller. He was supposed to be going to Dallas. And apparently they're getting too cute with the money again. And then you had that Desarius Smith who just signed with Baltimore. He was linked to the Cowboys. We have the Randy Gregory money now. You know, we restructured all these contracts for that money. They make these deals, and we're not. I mean, we lose Cedric Wilson. We get outbid by Cedric Wilson to Miami. Miami steals our offensive lineman, Connor Williams. Now we're talking about trading or just letting go of Lael Collins. I mean, I don't know what they're doing.
It will shock me if Dallas makes the playoffs next year.
This is why there's no repeat winner.
Ooh, I like that.
This is
that's not me. That's not me ripping on Dallas, because I always see Dallas as like, if I had a second team, I'd do my second team. But the amount of people, I mean, you went from a wide receiver room that was like probably top 5 wide receiver room to all you have is CeeDee Lamb now. I mean, you signed Gallup, but Gallup's been injured. You lost Connor Williams. You lost a heck of defense players. I mean, we hope for the draft.
We had 21 free agents. I mean, we franchise tagged our tight end. Come on. I mean, that's ridiculous. $11 million to a tight end. I mean, that's ridiculous. Malik Hooker's the only one that we signed. I don't. And by the way, we re-signed our long snapper. I mean, if I'm Dak Prescott, I'm sitting there scratching my head saying, "What are you guys doing? I can't scramble no more. You're getting rid of my offensive line."
As the GM and owner, you could scratch that and be like, well, Dak and Zeke, you guys wouldn't be paid so much, is what happens.
Yeah. I mean, the Zeke deal screws us. I mean, we can't get out of that for another year. So, 30-plus million dead cap hit.
I saw this funny stat where it was like, you have a guy like Tom Brady who takes pay cuts his whole life, goes to 10 Super Bowls, wins 6, and then you have guys like Dak and Patrick Mahomes who take these huge contracts. And then they kind of scratch their head like, why aren't we getting there? Well, you can't pay any of your players because you wanted this huge contract. Learn from the greats. Michael Jordan did it. Tom Brady did it. They wanted people.
But you see, Gibby will be happy. Miles Jack might be going to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I saw that's done already.
It is done?
Yeah, I saw that he agreed. I saw that went there already.
Oh, it's not updated on the page.
And then they just brought in Trubisky too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, we didn't even talk about Trubisky to the Steelers.
And that's a steal. $7 million a year. That's a steal.
Well, I said, does this put a chip on Dwayne Haskins? Right, you're probably gonna have a QB competition between all you hear is Mason Rudolph and now Trubisky. Is Dwayne Haskins a former first-round pick from Ohio State? Didn't really have a great team with the Redskins, but he didn't perform that well. Does this put a chip on his shoulder and say, you know what? I want my name out there. I'm going to compete hard for this team.
He's still young too, so if his character, kind of going back to character talk, if that can show to improve and he seems to find some discipline and is actually excelling as a quarterback, I mean, he's, to be honest, out of those 3, he might be the most talented. Anyways, it may come down to accuracy or the offensive line, things that they may be out of their control to some degree. It might be a 3-horse race. Who knows?
I'm looking at what the Giants are doing. I'm looking at what Washington's doing. I'm looking at what the Eagles are doing. It wouldn't surprise me if Dallas finishes last in that division. And that's just
the Giants is interesting though. Are they going to give a competition to Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, I'm sure
Barkley. He has ties with the coach and the GM. I mean, he's not bad.
Tyrod Taylor could take that team to the playoffs. I mean, Sterling Shepard took a pay cut. They have good weapons there. Dallas is just sitting back doing nothing.
Look what he did with Houston. Look what he did with Houston. I mean, when he was healthy, and he missed a couple games. I mean, they were beating teams left and right.
Dude, they beefed up their offensive line. They picked up another receiver. They have Tyrod Taylor. They picked up another cornerback. I mean,
they're gonna lose Ingram, the tight end.
And let's not forget they have 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, 2 first-round picks. They can take an offensive lineman and another receiver to help.
You know what the problem with the Cowboys is? Is they have a GM that can't be fired. Stephen Jones. I mean, Will McCray's he's the money man. He just sits back and he's the personnel guy. But Jerry Jones, what's he gonna do? Send Stephen to his bedroom and say you're grounded?
I mean, he can still fire him, even though it's family.
He's never gonna fire him because he's gonna be the future of the Dallas Cowboys when Jerry steps away. But it's just. I wish there was a new team coming into the league because I would start over.
There's an oddity. You're right, they can't really force them out, but that's the whole point I was trying to bring up DeMarcus Cousins with Gregory. DeMarcus Cousins is viewed way more highly than Gregory, regardless of age. I think he's
Marcus
more the
Lawrence.
leader.
Are we talking about
team.
DeMarcus Lawrence?
Or sorry, Lawrence. Yes, It just was weird, and the contracts they signed with Zeke going back, they couldn't figure out what the heck they wanted to do with Dak for a whole year and a half, 2 years, whatever the case.
But see,
you might be right, Chris.
That's the problem.
He does got to go.
But that's the problem with the Cowboys is they fall in love with their players, and they don't make smart deals with them, and then they get stuck screwing themselves. I love Tony Romo to death, but they did the same thing with Tony Romo. You know, they held on to him for so long. They kept pushing the money back. They couldn't put weapons around him because they didn't have any money. We had to let DeMarcus Ware go, one of our best defensive ends, because of Tony Romo. It's so frustrating to sit back and watch everyone doing all this stuff, and here we are twiddling our thumbs, and we'll wait till this is all over with and we'll pick up the has-beens, just like we've done for the last 2 years. Last year was our best shot, and we blew it. And we blew it.
It was. It was.
We just need the Vice to re-sign Thielen now that we got Cousins locked up, or else this city might burn.
I saw that.
Re-sign a hometown boy. We don't re-sign. They're planning on restructuring, so if they can't come to an agreement on that, I'd be, man. Rudy, I hear you, Rudy. We'll be pissed off as Vikings fans if they don't re-sign Thielen.
Jeez, man. Jeez.
There's my little nuggets. What do you think, Ty?
I'm good. I mean, if you guys, we can, not, you know, just me and Ace were talking before you came back on. We could do another podcast in the week, talk about all the baseball stuff, because we had that longer interview with Aaron.
I'm fine with it. But, Ty, did you tell Aaron? I mean, not Aaron. Did you tell Ace whose house you drive by every day?
Donald Trump.
I
didn't even notice.
Down there?
So I pass all these. I drive over a bridge to an island for work, and it's all these mansions, billionaires, millionaires. And when I drive home, I pass this one house before I get back on the bridge, and it's huge. It's just like the other one. It's a little bit bigger, though. American flag out, and there's always 2 guards at each gate. There's 2 big gates.
With machine guns.
Yeah, with machine guns. The one day I really saw the machine guns, and I was like, who lives there? And I was like, Googling it. You can click, like, on the maps, you can click the icon. I was like, oh, yeah, this is Donald Trump's house.
Dude, did we say anything about Von Miller?
Yeah, you brought that up.
6 years, $120 million.
When did that happen?
Miller?
Going to the Bills.
When did that happen?
Must have just happened. Von Miller going to the Bills. 6 years, $120 million. No wonder Dallas couldn't get him.
6 years? He's old, man. What the heck?
Dude,
I mean, I guess when you're his age, you're taking that money.
Are you kidding me? He has made a ton of money.
Dude, and they got
contracts he's gotten.
They got OJ Howard too.
OJ from the Bucks?
What about OJ Simpson?
OJ Howard. he's getting Von Miller is going to get $17.5 million per year for his first 4 seasons. Wow.
That's insane.
Well, that explains why Dallas wasn't in on that market. No hometown discount for the Cowboys. Jeez.
God, no. And, like, you can tell the teams that are, like, they're making these smart moves. Like, there's a lot of money on the cap, but, like, shores up the deep, or do you just plug in another guy on the defense?
That defense is already stacked, man. That defense is already stacked.
Dude,
that division's theirs.
Dallas needs a younger GM. We need some of these smart, younger, nerdy kids that know how to flip the dollar, because we're lost. We are so stuck in the 90s. Wow.
How much you want to bet this is really like a 2-year out, maybe 3-year out?
3-year out.
Be.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Jeez.
Dude, so I'm not gonna sniff.
We're gonna have random rants. My random rant is gonna be just holding me a star up every time we do a podcast. I hate this off season. Absolutely horrible.
Cowboys, go.
All right. Well, we'll talk about baseball later in the week. We'll get together, maybe like Saturday or Thursday or Friday. I could probably do Thursday.
Thursday's tomorrow.
Actually, that's tomorrow. Maybe Friday or something.
We could.
We'll talk about it.
Well, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.
Oh, yeah,
Happy St. Patrick's Day,
We're having our
everybody.
brisket, potatoes, and we're having our cabbage.
I wear fluorescent shirts every day at work, but I got to tell you a story after we get off air, by the way.
Well, on a serious note, thoughts and prayers to Ukraine. I don't know if you guys have been watching, but it is really getting bad over there, to the point where they're just bombing the heck out of everything now, and the
city's destroyed.
Oh my God, yeah, they're really putting pressure on the capital of Kyiv now, and it's bad. It is really bad. And one of the actually Russian lawmakers actually came out and said that it's time that we take back part of Alaska and part of California too.
No,
California.
Dead serious. Yeah, I guess they owned a fort up in California, up in the northern part of it. And they want to take that back, and it's one of their lawmakers, so it's just someone talking out their ass. But they want Alaska back. Hey, Alaska's soaked in oil, man, and these people are hungry for oil. I mean, they want the spoils of war, so it's not going to stop.
Let them step on U.S.
Yeah, with Biden administration, they could probably just walk right in right now if they wanted to, the way we're going. But thoughts and prayers to all those people. I couldn't imagine what it's like just to be over there and being in a bunker for 36 hours plus.
They're normal people, and their houses are getting destroyed, and their lives are getting destroyed. Even some of the Russian people. Do you think some of those Russian people want to be going to war right now with Ukraine? No.
Dude, and you know what?
No idea too.
And a sports take too. The thing I really hate and disgust, I disgust the fact that our media is going after all these athletes over here that are Russians. You know, you can't expect these people to talk bad about Putin, especially if their family's still living over there. The first thing
they're getting arrested.
Yeah, the first thing they'll do is if Ovechkin goes over here and starts talking bad about Putin, they're gonna go and take his family that's over there. They're gonna arrest him and they're gonna put pressure on him. He can't speak out. None of these people
happens
can.
in China. That's what happened with that poor lady in China, the tennis athlete.
Yeah, I remember that. She disappeared for a while.
Yeah. You got a dictator over there that is not afraid right now. I think he's not afraid to push the button if it comes to it. And then you have China on the other hand, too, that's basically saying the same thing. If anyone gets involved with Taiwan, you're going to see something that you've never seen before. And they're threatening us with nukes. And the thing is we have a military base in Taiwan. So if they attack Taiwan, we're already involved.
Yep, yeah.
But just thoughts and prayers to all the Ukrainians.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers.
And thoughts and prayers to the Russian people that don't want to be involved with this. I mean, the protesters by the thousands, like you said, are getting arrested. So,
soldiers to protesters.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, it's an ugly world, man. It really is. Ugly world.
Crazy. Our thoughts and prayers are definitely with them. We're going to end the podcast here. We hope you guys follow our TikTok, or Instagram, or Twitter. My dad's always up on Twitter. I slack a little bit with Instagram, but we've been posting more videos on TikTok and Instagram.
Thank you all for all the followers.
We thank Erin Summers again. I don't know why I say Erin Andrews. Erin Summers again for joining us. But yeah, we hope you guys have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.